In this video, we are going to be talking about my top 3 lens recommendations for the Sony A6700. So the first lens that I'm going to be talking about is not supposed to be part of this list, so just consider this as a bonus. This is the Sony 16-50 f3.5 to 5.6 kit lens. So I know this is going to surprise you because why am I recommending a lens that is part of a kit that you buy whenever you buy cameras for the first time, right? So the good thing about this lens is that it is small, it is tiny, it does not add so much bulk and weight to the camera. At the same time, it is just small, it only extends in size. If you do power on the camera, that's when you engage the lens and it becomes longer, just like that. So I still love this lens and I would still highly recommend it to people who are just starting off, or if you just want a lightweight lens to bring around with you every day, if you don't want to commit to bringing a heavier lens like a 2.8 or 1.8. So yeah, this is the runner-up for this video, the 16-50 f3.5 to 5.6. So let's now talk about my first lens recommendation for this kit right here. So the first one is definitely going to be the Sigma 18-50 f2.8. So if you're used to shooting in full frame formats, you've probably heard of the legendary 24-70 f2.8. So that focal length or that lens itself is a very versatile lens because you can go from 24mm to 70, which is from wide to tight. You can do portraits, you can do landscapes, whatever you want, you can do it with that lens. So in APS-C format, this is the equivalent of that lens. This is an 18-50, which means you're going to get around a 28-70 equivalent on full frame terms. So this lens is amazing because unlike that lens that I told you about, the 24-70, this one is quite small because Sigma somehow managed to make a lens that has a 2.8 aperture, is a zoom lens, at the same time is not so big. So this one right here is the whole package right here. This is a 24-70 on APS-C terms with a 2.8 aperture, which means, like what I said before, you're going to be able to go from pretty wide, not ultra wide territory, but just wide enough to get the bigger picture. And at the same time, you can punch into 50, which is around 75 millimeters. So you're going to be able to do portraits, landscapes, whatever you want to do with this lens, you're going to be able to. At the same time, this has an f2.8 aperture, which means it's going to perform better in low light than this kit lens right here, which only goes from 3.5 to 5.6. So this is the main weakness of the kit lens because it will not do so well in low light. You need to bump up your ISO, which means you're going to introduce a lot of grain into your image. So if you're ready to take that next level step, you're definitely going to want to pick up the Sigma 18-50 f2.8. So the next lens we are going to be talking about is within the vlogging territory. So let's pretend you're like me. You want to shoot a lot of vlogs and you want to shoot outdoors. This is when a vlogging lens comes in. So the lens of choice that I have is the Sony 10-18 f4 OSS. So the main reason why I have this lens instead of the newly released Sigma 10-18 f2.8 is that this lens right here, the 10-18, is a lot cheaper than the Sigma counterpart. That one is just too expensive. At the same time, it has 2.8, right? Which means it's going to perform good in low light. But the main edge of this 10-18 f4 OSS is that this has image stabilization. So if you're walking around vlogging like this, it's going to help you keep the shots a little bit more steady rather than having it shake all over the place. So just because the A6700 already has good in-body image stabilization, so if you pair that with the image stabilization from the lens, it's going to do a decent job. Not really GH5 Panasonic level, but it's going to be a lot better than not having it. At the same time, this is a lot cheaper than the Sigma counterpart. So if you're looking for a vlogging lens for your A6700, definitely look into the 10-18 f4 OSS by Sony, because it's cheap, it's lightweight, at the same time it doesn't weigh down the camera so much, and it just looks good too. It's not front heavy, it just balances things out. So the third and last lens that I have right here is the one that you want if you want to shoot portraits. If you want to shoot a lot of people, like headshots, head to waist level, this is the lens to get. And this lens is the Sony 50mm f1.8, or also known as the Nifty 50. So why am I recommending a lens that is supposed to be on full frame format? So on full frame format, if you use a 50mm, you are going to be getting 50mm because there is no crop. But the A6700 is an APS-C camera, which has a 1.5 crop. So you're starting to get the bigger picture here, right? Because if you multiply 50 by 1.5, you're gonna get around 70 to 80 millimeters, which is the perfect portrait lens. This is one of the most flattering portrait focal lengths that you can buy for a camera, because that's why a lot of people buy those G Master 85 millimeter f1.2, if I remember correctly, or f1.4. Anyway, this one is gonna get you not really close to that, but at least almost in that territory. If you want to shoot portraits, the 50mm f1.8 is perfect for the A6700. First of all, it is cheap. At the same time, it's lightweight. At the same time, it does not make the camera a lot any bigger than it is. This is just the hood. If you remove the hood, it's only this small. So this is the lens that I usually bring if I know that I'm going to be photographing people. If I want to take portraits, this is the lens that I would bring. At the same time, this lens for videography will make good for a B-roll lens because of that compression and that 1.8 aperture. You're going to be able to shoot in slow motion without having to lose so much light from cranking up your shutter speed. So yeah, this 51.8 is my lens of recommendation for portraits or B-roll on the A6700. So this was just a quick video talking about my lens recommendations for the A6700. If you like this video, leave a like. If you found this video helpful, or if you like content like this, leave a comment down below and I would really love that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.